Welcome back, guys. This time around I'm taking a look at the new Manjaro XFCE and the new preview. Now, it's Manjaro 15.12 preview 1. The last one I looked at was the Mate version. This is the XFCE version. Comes with XFCE 4.12 and all the usual Manjaro and upstream updates. Let's see, there were some UEFI issues that got fixed. Reworked the preview of all installation options, and I used the Calamaris installer. As usual, it's a terrific installer. They actually give you a choice when you boot in. You can use Thus, which works fine, and Calamaris, which in my opinion is a step up. It's now possible to use the same password also for the root account, and bootloaders can now be optionally installed. I installed the bootloader to the root partition and it worked out fine. So there have been several optimizations and fixes to Manjaro tools, and there appears to be not really many big changes to the aesthetics, to the configuration of the desktop. However, one of the things I noticed is that if we take a look at the menu itself, in accessories you've got the application finder, bulk rename, clipboard manager, light DM, greeter settings, menu editor, mousepad, screenshot, task manager, and of course file manager is Thunar, as it is with most XFCE distributions. Development, the usual. Internet, one of the things I noticed is that Midori is the browser. Now, if I remember correctly, normally Firefox was installed previously, but now Midori is preloaded as the browser. And you can also start up the private browsing. Midori has a private browsing alternative that some of you may want to take advantage of. In multimedia, I installed GUVC View and Simple Screen Recorder, and also SM Player. What came with it was the QT-V4L2 test utility and the Pulse Audio volume control. For Office, it's a document viewer only. In settings, you've got your usual. I'm going to expand that a little bit. Accessibility, appearance, desktop display, file manager, keyboard, all the usual. Manjaro settings manager. The kernel is 4.1.13. I'm sorry, it's actually running 4.3. 4.1.13 is recommended. However, they've opted to install the newest 4.3. And so far I don't see any issues. I have run distributions with 4.3 before, and I haven't had any issues, so I don't really expect any with Manjaro. This machine that I'm running on has basic hardware, onboard graphics, onboard audio, 8 gigs of RAM. No special considerations when it comes to hardware. Usually doesn't have any issues at all. It picked up my Wi-Fi and Ethernet out of the box with no problem. Let's get back to the menu. Let's see, menu editor, a mouse and touchpad, network, notifications, customize the panel, power manager, preferred applications, privilege granting, session and startup for your applications that you want to start on boot. Settings editor, that's a graphical settings editor for a lot of the configuration options within your machine you can tweak. Settings manager, and this is, I'm gonna open that up in a second. Window Manager tweaks. Now usually I will leave everything as defaults, except I usually tweak that a little bit and make sure compositing is enabled. And let's see, and the other one, let's see, let's go up to settings. Okay, so these are the typical XFCE settings. Appearance, Desktop File Manager. These are all of the ones that appear in the whisker menu. And let's see, what do we want to do? I want to go to Appearance. These are the themes that are installed out of the box. It's got Menda. I don't particularly care for Menda, but I would install Numix. Icons, Menda Circle, and everything else is, I usually, for anti-aliasing, I usually put only slight. Other than that, now I'm not sure if you guys do any DPI tweaking, but if you want to, you know, enlarge the graphics, the text especially, you can do that, as you can see. So if you've got any vision issues, you can always tweak that and get that a little bit larger. Might make things a little more comfortable for you. Okay, so that is it there. Now, of course, I would do a few things. I don't. I'm going to take a look at the wallpaper. Wallpaper, I would change to something a little bit nicer once I get the distribution tweaked the way I like it. Add in all my normal picture files, and I would use those to update the desktop. And of course, as I said, I would load up Numix and Fienza icons. Things are pretty, when it comes to Arch or Manjaro, things are pretty easy to tweak. For example, let's say I want to tweak the whisker menu. I don't really like it this way. I prefer the categories on the left. So let's take a look, and I prefer the search and the settings at the bottom. But so let's take a look. If I right click that, and right now it's set for just displaying the icon. I don't usually put applications. I change it to menu, and also I put a space. So I put a space before and a space after. That way it gets a little separation from the open windows. Now if I go icon and title, then that's what you'll see. Can change that icon also just by clicking on it. Oh, that's not opening. Oh, there we go. So you could change the icon to pretty much anything you like, and if there's nothing here that you like, you can go online and download whatever it is that you'd like. So let's say you wanted to put the there's an Arch distributor logo. You could put the Arch logo. I'm not sure if there are any There's the Manjaro distributor local, which is the default, but you can do, I don't know why you would want to, but the Linux Mint is included, and OpenSUSE is included. So let's say we wanted to do Arch. So now the Arch logo is there. Okay. So, but on behavior, I like to switch categories by hovering, and I like the categories next to the panel button. And I want to display my recently used by default. So let's see what that looks like now. Categories are down here. I'm going to shrink that back. So categories are on the left. I can switch by hovering, and I am going to, before I make any other changes, I'm going to move the panel to the top. So if I right click the panel and I go to panel preferences, I'm going to unlock the panel, and let's see. If I unlock it, basically all I'm going to do is drag it up top. Okay? So once I get it up top where I like it, I'll lock it. And I will close that out. So now I've got the search and the settings at the bottom just the way I like it, and I've got my categories on the left. I can access them by hovering, and my favorites recently used are displayed by default. So that is exactly the way I like it. Now what I would do, let's take a look at something here. I'm going to open a terminal, and the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to install Plank. Let's see, that's available. Okay, so I'm going to install Plank so I can put a dock at the bottom, and we will activate that momentarily. So that should be in accessories. There it is, and there is the dock at the bottom. Now, of course, I want to make sure that that starts when I boot the machine. So if I go to Session and Startup, Application Auto Start, let me pull that down a little bit. I don't like starting power management. I don't like starting screen locker, and I am going to add Plank. And the command will just be Plank. That way I know it's going to start automatically when I boot. Okay? Now the next thing I'm going to install is Fienza icon theme. So we're going to let that install, and then I'm going to activate the Fienza icons. Now those icons are a little bit small on the desktop, so I am going to enlarge those to a 42. The tooltips are usually 128. That's awfully large. You see how big that window is? I usually knock that down to about 60. Much better. And I do not want removable devices on the screen. we'll close that out. Fienza icon theme is installing as we speak. Once we do that, I'm going to switch that, and we'll take a look at, see what the difference is on that, on the appearance of the desktop. Now this takes a minute to install, and I am also going to install Numix, but that is in the Yowert, which Yowert was not enabled out of the box. I had to load that. I had to add Yowert to my Pac-Man configuration, which I did, and that's why you see it active here. But it was not loaded out of the box. Okay, so let's see what is listed under Numix. Okay, we've got a bunch of things. So let's see. I'm going to go with number 1, number 4, and well, I think that's the only thing I'll do right now. So 1 and 4. And that's the beauty of Yowert, in that you can just do a search and it will bring up all of the applications that are related, and then you can just select the ones from the list. And it'll go ahead. Now those are already installed, and my Fienza icons are installed. So if I take a look, if I take a look at appearance, there is my Numix theme. And there's a Numix Manjaro, which basically just changes the orange to green. So Numix is the theme, and the icons, I'm going to go for Fienza Darkest. And I'm going to close that out. So as you can see, it's taken on a much different look. The Numix theme I like a lot. It's very plain, the black bar at the top, and everything is highlighted in orange. The Plank dock adds a lot to it, and I prefer the Fienza icons, just a plain simple icon theme. So that looks great. Now if I take a look at Midori and I add a new tab, let's say I want to find let's do Manjaro Linux wallpaper in the proper resolution. And as you can see, that'll bring up a ton. And if you want to get something a little bit more in line with the theme that you have, there are a ton of desktop wallpapers available. So let's see. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's download this one right here. We'll save that to the desktop. And change our desktop wallpaper. We're going to go to desktop. We'll take that. And there we go. So that looks pretty nice. And so this is the new, this is the way I like it. It's very simple, very nice. This matches the Numix, and everything looks fine. I think I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'll use it for a few days, see if any bugs develop. If they do, I will report them to the team at Manjaro. They're always responsive when presented with either questions or suggestions from their users. So guys, that is it. That's the new 15.12 Manjaro XFCE. Kind of tweaked the way I like it. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. As always, please rate, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you soon. Take care.